Okay, start. So all that is, and we have discussed about another important thing, what we call waterfall versus agile. Okay, and we know most of the time in today's situation, people are using agile methodology, right? And then types of testing, we have seen unit testing, smoke testing, integration, ad hoc, and monkey, and regression. So regression comes at the end actually. So usually it is an end-to-end testing, which is actually the most used testing in the industry. And bug report, we have to see this bug report thing. So first, before that, before we see bug report, we should understand what is a test case. That is very important. So we are going to that topic now. So this is a simple test case here. And you need to be very clear with this because this is the very important phase of testing. So even though we have different phases like test requirements and test planning, in the test planning, we plan strategies for testing. And test case is very important thing where you create a number of scenarios. Suppose you take an example of a website. Let us take example of Amazon itself. Okay, you see this anything. It might be Amazon Prime or Amazon regular website or anything. Let me just open a regular Amazon website. So what is the test case you have to array? Just getting this. You see here, friends. So this is the Amazon website. So what test case you have to create? See, for any project like from medium, small, and big projects, depends on size of project. You have to create first test cases before you start executing testing. When you start doing testing, the very important, the pre-testing requirement is creating your test scenarios or test cases. And it is a simple Excel like this, where you just create these test cases and what you have to do in every test case. And this will be created by your testing team or by your test manager and then share it to you. So, and you have to start doing this. Okay. Now, this is your website here, your testing website. So based on size of your project or website, so you decide how many test cases you should be there. Suppose if it is a very big project, you might have 1,000 test cases or 2,000 test cases or 3,000 test cases. It depends on size of project. If it is a small project, it will be just some 100 or 200 test cases. If it is a medium project, some 500 or something, and some thousand, something like that. So what is this test case here? Once the product is developed, you have to test this one, this menu. When you click on this, again, you have to see if this is coming or not. And you have to check again whether these menu options, sub menu options are there or not. Suppose when you click on this movies, you have to see whether this is going to whether it is showing all the movie catalog or not. So like this, what you have to do is uh, once you develop any product, you have to check, create this test cases. That is very important. Suppose you have a sign in page and you clicked on sign in here. Okay. When you clicked on sign in, if you see here, so you have to see like the test cases, you should check like, if you enter mail ID, it is accepting or not. And then if it is taking password or not. When you click on this button, it is moving to the next page or not. So like this, you have to create test cases. Okay, that is very important. So I'll just show you few sample test cases. Maybe if you want, you can also create it in the Excel. Usually all these test cases are created in Excel, and your test case structure look like this. So what is that? The structure of test case. You have all these columns in a test case here. So test case ID, and then test design by, and then date. Okay. and then prerequisites. So if you want to test what is the necessity you need, we'll just see one by one. Test module, test item, test description, test steps, expected result, what should be that. So this is the structure, and then status, and then comments. Okay. So this is a simple test case. I just created a couple of sample test cases for you. Now, if you see, the first thing is this is your website, and then here you just give numbering in the test case ID under that, and it need not to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can sometimes it might be some other kind of numbering. It depends on how you create it. The second thing is who is designing the test case? Is it you or your friend or your manager or your lead, or that you have to name here. And date, anyhow, you provide date here. In whichever the date you are creating this test case, you mention that and mention it. Okay. And then prerequisites. So for testing, what is the important requirement? If you see here, so this is a login page. You want to test your login page. What is the prerequisite for this? Definitely email or phone number. Without this, you cannot move forward, right? Suppose you click continue, you got an error here. If you see here, you are seeing an error. So this is prerequisite. If you want to do testing, what are the prerequisites? You should see that you have to keep under this column. Okay, if it might be email, it might be phone number, or it might be something else. So that you should mention here. Got it, right? So that is one more thing. Next one, test module. What you are testing here completely. You are testing a login form now. This is Amazon login. Just take an example of this. So this is a test module. The whole login form you are testing now. This we have to mention here. What is it? Amazon login form is the one we should mention here. So if you are testing something else, like some menu, that you should mention here. What test module you are testing, that you have to mention under this. And then this is important. Suppose you are going to the real-time testing. So you should be very clear, like how to create test cases. Even in interviews, people ask questions on this test cases. How do you design your test cases? And they will also ask scenarios, like they will ask you to they'll give you a scenario and ask you, like how do you design test cases. And apart from that, they will ask you, how do you find these defects? Okay, so like that. So this is one of the very important this thing for interviews. So that is about this one. And test item, what you should test here. Suppose in this, the very important thing is button here. So what you have to do, once you enter some mail or something, or phone number or something, you are doing clicking. So which item you are testing here? Without clicking, you cannot move forward, right? So this is what test item. What item you are testing here? Whether it is a button, whether it is a checkbox, whether it is a radio button, whether it is all this drop down list. So because in a web environment, you have many of these items, right? So that thing you should just mention as a test item here. Okay, right. So that one is a test item here. Okay. So what items you are testing in your web page or your website is the test item. Next, test description. Test description means what you are doing with these test items is the test description. Suppose if you have a button, what do you do with button? You just try to test clicking button with valid email. So what you do here in the login module, you enter some email or password and then click on this button, so that what is that you are trying to this testing something, and that you have to describe, like what is the test description you are doing here. Okay, so what do? You try to test clicking on button with valid email ID, and if you don't do that, you get an error. Even it should show that. That is important. Okay, next one. After that, test steps you have to mention. Again, for each test case, you have to provide test steps. What is that test steps? So one is go to Amazon URL. First thing, you have to go to the URL. And second thing, enter email. See, this is very simple to understand to how to create a simple test case. And third thing is uh, click on continue button. This is the third one. So these are the steps you need to follow. This is for a simple login page. Similarly, if you take an example of this one, if you see here, okay, you have a menu. For this menu, what you have to do, just in a click on this, you should be able to see all this. So first one, click on the menu. Second one, you have to, again, you have some sub items here. Suppose you click on this item. That is step two. Suppose you are testing this one. Then you have to see whether this image is coming or not. And excuse me. And then you have all these details for this item or not. So you can see here. Suppose if you don't have any of this description for this item, so can you purchase it? It's very difficult for you to identify what exactly is this item and so who is selling this. All this is difficult. So you have to check for everything. You have to mention that each step you are verifying when you are testing. You got it, team. So that you have to mention as test steps. So everything you do step by step, that we have to mention here. So that is what we call test step is. For example, a simple login form gives you a simple idea here, right? You can see here, right? What is that? The idea is simple here. So go to the Amazon URL and then enter email and then click on this button. So these are the steps you should follow if you want to test this simple login form. Okay, and that is what you have to mention in the test case. Got it, team? And after that again, next one is a expected result. What is the expected result? For this, you don't need to be a genius to understand this for anyone. See, for testing, the minimum common information we know is more than enough. Sometimes an unknown person can be better than a regular tester. For example, if you see recently, there was an issue with Instagram. Earlier there was an issue in Instagram that everybody can delete everyone's messages. One guy reported that issue to this Instagram people, like this Facebook people, and I think he was rewarded a lot. And that guy is not a tester, but somehow random while using this Instagram, he found out the bug, and then he reported that bug to the Instagram team, and he was rewarded heavily. So the point is simple. To do testing, first we need to have some basic understanding of things that's all. Okay, using tools, all that it is a technical thing, but for testing, anyone can be a tester, even without having that testing knowledge. So what is this point here now? Another step here is expected result. What is the expected result? If you enter a email and when you click on this button, what you are expecting now? It should move to the password page. So that is what should happen is the expected result. User should be navigated to password page if you enter a valid email. Okay. And then based on the action. So based on the result, otherwise, you mention the status here. You don't put both pass or fail. Either you mention either pass or fail. Suppose you have entered a valid email and you are registered with Amazon, then you move to the password page. Suppose you are entering invalid mail and are invalid password, then it will fail. So that status you mention here in the test case once this testing is done. Okay, and then if any comments were there, that you can add here, additional comments. If you have any recommendation for developer or if you want to add something about this, Then you put it in the comments. And this is simple test case design. Okay. So, and you have to create this. If you are a tester every day, without creating test cases, you don't go for testing. That is the very important thing you should keep in mind. And having idea about all this is important. Suppose if you want to jump into the testing, getting a clear picture about test cases is also very important. Got it, team? So what do you do right now? All this is fine. How do you do testing? Suppose you just want to test it. You say, tech, no, I'm just doing a simple quick test. I entered my password and then yes, and I clicked on technom@gmail. You see, this is not a valid email. This is a case. This is one scenario. Okay. And you should see whether it is going or not. So you have this. What is that? We cannot find an account with the email address because see, this is not valid email. So what is that you should do here? Then expected result is this. So what happens now? It's not navigating. Then what the status is fail here. That's what you should mention here. Okay. This is one scenario. This is, of course, this is a positive case. Let us just keep this as is. Okay. The second scenario we just added for that. User should not be navigated to password. Then what happens if you are not able to navigate? Means test case will obviously will fail. Fail. It will fail. We don't have any other thing. So that we should mention here. So of course, again, one more important thing is when you say not to be navigated means this is the case you have designed. If it is not navigating, again, what you have to, because as per the tester expected result, this is pass on because you created a scenario, negative scenario. You have to see whether it is happening or not. So you are passing that. You are not able to pass if you are giving invalid email ID. So this is pass only, no problem. Yeah, based on that expected result, your status is decided. Okay, another user should be navigated to password page. Suppose this in this case you are trying to enter, but this is not navigating. Then this test case is fail here. Yes, this is fail. Status is fail here. Like that, what you do, you can create n number of scenarios just for login page. You can create one more test case. Suppose so for when you just enter like this, you should see some description about error. That is one test case. Say you can add like whether seeing a error message for a particular button click. So that is a scenario. So if you are not seeing, again test cases failing. If we are seeing, test cases pass. Suppose there is an empty login form and then you are trying to continue. And you should see that this error message is coming here or not. So again, this is one test case. Like that, what you have to do, you have to create a number of test cases associated for this simple login form. You can add many. Got it, right? So you can cover up all the scenarios, all the possible scenarios. You cannot say it's 5 or 10 or anything else. It might be any number of scenarios, whichever is applicable to this login form. So as a tester, you don't have any limit, no, whichever, how many hour is necessary, that many test cases you can create and you can test. And based on this expected result, your status is decided. And based on the inputs you provide, and you test it, and finally you mention the status here, whether it is fail or pass, and then you decide that. Okay, next one. So this is all about a simple test case. Are you following, friends? Right. Next one. Once test cases are designed, then you go for test execution. Okay. So what do? You execute all these test cases. And then what happens after that? Once you execute test cases, you actually provide report. What do? You provide the report. So, and then this is not just bug report. I'm just talking about at the end of this testing, you get the results and you share all that report. Suppose how many tests passed, how many failed. How many bugs are there again? Apart from pass and fail, again you have defects. How many defects are there? So you have to create a report for all that and then you should send it to your manager. Or otherwise you will mention in the bug tracking tool. So that developer will automatically see that and he try to fix those bugs. That's how it happens. Okay. So again he will submit the once he fix the bug again he will submit that. So but as a testing engineer, your responsibility is still what your responsibility is to test your module and then share the report to the uh, concerned people. So that is very important. Okay. So now another important thing is talking about bug here. So this is all about test case and how to design test case and all the test case steps and then expected results and then status, all the important information. Apart from this again, next, apart from test, pass or fail. So there is another thing. Suppose you take a Google here, google.com. Okay. What is bug here? So you can see bugs, you can find out bugs anywhere. It's not like only your project. Okay. You can check from a regular websites as well. Suppose this is your Google. You are trying to type something, but you are not seeing anything when you type. So this is a bug actually, because if you type something and if you are not seeing anything, without any second thought, we can confirm it is a bug. It is a defect. Why? If it is a text box, we should see when you type something. But when I type something here in your web form or web page, you are not able to see what you are typing in the text box. That itself is a big bug or big defect, right? Suppose another example, you take this one. What is that? Amazon itself. Let's take the example of Amazon. Okay. Again. So you click on some menu button. Suppose you are a big fan of electronics. You click on this menu button, and this menu button is not at all moving. So this is not working actually. This is a bug or defect again. And here, suppose this is a drop down list. Okay. And when you click on this drop down list, you are not seeing any items here. This is a defect or a bug. Similarly, in this way, you can find out hundreds of bugs if you don't create your website properly. If the developer is not taking utmost care to create this website, then you can as a tester you can find n number of bugs in your project in your website, and you have to list out all this. This is very important. Again, for that, again you can see here. This is how you create a bug report. Okay. Generally, there will be a tool apart from your report. There will be a tool as well. And in most of the cases, what you do is once after testing, you share that results in the tool and enter all that bugs information into bug tracker tools. And developer will automatically will see that bugs in the bug tracker and they try to fix those bugs. And again, they update the bug tracker. Like there will be stages again in the bug trackers. Once you enter some bug into the bug tracker, it will be in open stage. And then once the developer fix it, and second stage is they will assign it to a developer. That is second stage. And third stage is developer will fix it. And then again, that is one more stage, fixed stage or something what you can mention. Then test stage, again retest. Retest stage means again it will come to you once the developer do the fixing. So that is about bug life cycle. We'll talk about it. But before that, you have to, once your testing is done and if you found bugs, you have to create bug report like this, a separate bug report apart from test cases. Test cases is something which you design before testing, not after. Bug report is something which you create or design after testing. This is a big difference. Again, the people might ask questions in the interview, and if you want to answer it with confidence, what you have to do? This is the difference. Test cases are not designed after testing, before testing. You add all the possible scenarios in your Excel sheet, and then you try to start testing that. After testing, you find bugs and then you create a bug report here. So bug report is created after testing. Once your results is out and when you find bugs here. Suppose this is a bug here. What is that? This is the again how we have to create a bug report, a defect ID, defect description, and module severity, priority, and status. So what is defect description here? When a valid email is entered, system shows invalid. So suppose this is something very dangerous, right? So in this login form, what you are doing here, I am entering a valid email now. Suppose you see here tech nom @gmail.com. This is a valid email. Then when I say continue, it has to go. Suppose it's not going, then this is a bug, right? Again, if it is invalid, it's fine. But if after entering valid email, still if it is saying invalid means something strange, terribly wrong here. Okay, your register user might get panic here. So this is a bug here. Okay. So that is the defect description and then module login page. Which module is having this defect and severity. What is the severity? See, this is a big problem, right? When you enter a valid email and then you are not able to continue means it is high severity issue. So there are two types of things here. When we come to severity, are three types. We can categorize severity into three types: high severity, medium severity, low severity. When it is high severity, you have to address it immediately. And medium means you can have at least, some time, a day or two. Low priority means you can take some time. Suppose you don't have this logo in the Amazon login page. So still you can work with you can enter your mail and then you can, go to the next page. Because this this logo doesn't have big impact. But of course, even that is also a big high severity issue only. Why? Because if you don't see the logo itself, people cannot trust. But I'm talking about functionality. Even without logo, we can enter this mail and we can go forward to the next page. But still, if you talk about a simple website, that logo is not something really important. We don't care about it. So this is low severity. Got it right? Suppose another important scenario. You click on forget password and this is not working. This is again high priority because if you forget password and if it is not working means definitely it's high priority. Similarly, there will be cases of medium priority as well, which doesn't need immediate attention, but you have some time to fix it. Suppose you are not entering anything and it's not showing error message. Still, it's a medium priority because still we don't have a problem with error message. Okay. But if you enter valid email, it is going. If you are entering invalid message, but it's not showing error message, but it's okay. Functionality is somehow working to some level. That is medium priority. So this has to be addressed at least, if not immediately, within a day or to something like that. I'm just taking an example, small example, to just give you an idea about all the possible scenarios, like what is high priority, what high severity, and then medium severity and low severity. And based on severity or priority decides. Usually high severity bugs have high priority. Immediately, you have to give the attention. You have to just inform to the developers, ask them to fix it immediately. Again, you have to retest it. Again, you have to submit for patch releases. So usually high priority, how high severity bugs will have high priority. Okay, in most of the cases. So in few cases, high severity bugs have low priority. In which cases, for example, this logo itself. Let's take another scenario. You take the Amazon logo, you don't find the logo. This is high severity only. Because if you don't see logo, if you don't see the Amazon logo, how many of you will trust this website? People start getting doubt whether this is a valid Amazon or you went to some kind of hackers website. So that is also high severity. But you don't need to worry about logo because logo is not something which is not going to impact your functionality. So you might still enter your mail and you can go to the another page. So this is what high severity, and maybe you can give it as a low priority because logo thing you can add later and then you can test it again. So that is what low priority. So based on the your scenario, your severity and priority is decided. High severity bugs usually have high priority because they we have to fix them immediately, and then you have to share it to the team, your concerned teams or concerned management persons. So this is all about this one bug report, and how do you create it, and severity you have to mention here. So about this login module. So what is that? When a valid email is entered, system shows invalid. What is the severity high? What is the priority you should mention? Is it a high severity or high priority, or medium severity and high priority, or low severity and high priority? So you have to decide based on the based on defect and the urgency for that defect. And then status. Generally, when you don't assign it and just created a bug report, you just put it in open stage. Once that issue is fixed, then you move it to the close stage. All this happens usually in the bug tools, okay, bug tracking tools like Bugzilla or many more are there. Okay, so this is how you create a bug report and share to the developers, so that are enter in the bug tracking tool so that developers will come and fix them. And again, what you have to do, again, you retest it and then you confirm that bug is good, and then you close that bug report to and move it to the status stage, close stage, sorry. So this is a simple idea about this one, friends. I hope you are having a clear idea about this one. Understood now? Now, bug life cycle. What is the other one? Bug life cycle. You see here, these are all stages in bug life cycle. What is it? So when you find out a new defect, it is in new stage. And later on, if you assign to some developer, it moves to the assign. You can see all that stages in your tracking tool. Once it's assigned, it will move to your open stage. Once open, developer just fix it, and you the developer move it to a fixed stage. And then once he fixes it, and he will move it to the pending this stage, pending retest. From here onwards, again testing team is going to continue. So once you start testing, it will be moved to retest. From retest again, retest means right. Again testing that bug whichever is fixed by the developer. Again, everything you have to test again and again until you are sure that your module is error free. That is why testing is needed always. Okay. And then once retesting is done successfully, then you move it to a verified stage, because testing is done successfully, then move it to verified. Once you move it to verified, and finally you move it to the close stage because you did verification and everything is fine. And then you move it to a closed stage. Sometimes when you are doing this retesting, suppose a developer fixed the bug, but still while retesting again you found some issue. Then again you reopen the issue and again move it to move back to it to square one. Again you move it to open stage. This is where the developer gets frustrated, but there is no choice for tester because he is doing his duty. Okay, so this is about all the important phases of a bug life cycle. And apart from that, there is one more thing here. When you open, sometimes these phases also exist. Some you might create a duplicate bug. I mean, this a ticket for this. You might open twice. Already there is a ticket for a bug, and you are opening it again. It becomes a duplicate. So you can cancel that. Sometimes developer reject your bug because it is not actually a bug, but by mistake you thought that it is a bug and opened a bug report. Okay, and then deferred. Sometimes if it is not urgent to fix it, so and developer is busy with something, then you can defer it for a week or two, something like that. Sometimes you find a bug, but that is not a bug at all. Then you mention it as not a bug like this. And this is how the whole bug life cycle exists here, team. You got it right. This is the bug life cycle here. Understood now? Got an idea? Right. So next one. This is all about the life cycle of bugs here now, team. I hope you are good with all this stuff. Okay. All of you are following. Can I following team? Please confirm if you are following or not. Is it clear for all of you? Yeah. Yeah. These reactions are much more better actually. Good. Thank you. So next one. So another important thing is we are moving to the next. This is all about the basics of testing about all this. So the slide one you have finished here under lesson one, all this. What is bug and how to report and what is a bug life cycle, severity versus priority. What is test plan and test case? By now you should be able to answer all these questions, team. Okay. Right. Next one. We'll move to the next scenario, next thing. So now again, jumping to the very important thing of Selenium, introduction to automation and Selenium. So what is automation? And here we are going to talk about all this. What is automation? What is a web-based automation? What is Selenium? And all the important features of Selenium and how Selenium has evolved and Selenium with different programming languages. And we are about to start our technical discussion from tomorrow onwards. Okay, our discussion starts from tomorrow. So now the question is, what is an automation? So all of us know this. Automation means simple. Suppose you have a website. So you do this testing manually. What is that? Entering email and then clicking on mouse on this button, all this stuff. Okay. So you generally do this manually. The same thing you can automate it with certain tools actually. With record and play option, what you can do is you can do the automation. Whatever the manual work you are doing, most of that you can automate it with some tools or this thing. So automation means whatever you are doing manually, you are just using a script and making it you know automated. So that you have a start flow and end flow. Automatically, it will run all those all that flows, and that's what we call automation. Means simply speaking, you are reducing the manual effort and you are increasing the machine here. You are involving machine into this. You are involving a program into this. And that program is taking care of all that what is that is needed to do this testing. Got it, team? And anyhow, you see it because it's very interesting to observe when you are doing automation. Okay. So that's about this one. And here the advantage with automation is when you do automation, manual effort is reduced and the time to do this task also gets reduced. Less time, more results. That's what automation does. And it's a anyway kind of innovation. Automation is also a kind of innovation team. So that's what automation is, where human involvement is reduced or minimized, and then a machine takes care of that activity, and then it happens very quickly. And that is automation in simple terms, because for our applications we constantly do these automations, and that is very much necessary as well. Without that, what happens is manually doing it takes a lot of time. That's why we reduce it. Got it right? That is general automation, what we do regularly. Web-based automation means you do it for a website, for a web, Suppose you take this one example. This is the web-based automation. What is that? The first step is when you just click on your automation process, first you should take the URL automatically, should pop up the browser first. That is the first thing. You don't involve anything. You don't put your hand at all. Opening browser, okay, and then coming to the email, entering email, clicking on the button, moving to the next page, and then checking that. So all this process. So this happens automatically. And for that, what do you do for this, web page? You just create a script for that in Selenium or something else, and it will be automatically. You'll just keep sit and see. That's all. And you record it and you play it automatically. It will just keep doing these steps one by one, as if a robot is doing something. So that is web-based automation, where you apply this automation for your website and you call it as web-based automation. Got it, understood, team? That's about that one. So this is a quick idea. Now, what is Selenium now? So now finally we are into the Selenium discussion today. What is Selenium? Why do we need Selenium? So when you talk about Selenium, Selenium is something. What is this something? Which is a tool for testing your websites. It is purely for web applications only. It doesn't support any other application. Selenium is purely web-based tool. If you automate, if you want to automate any website, then Selenium is used. And many companies, many famous companies like JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley, all these many companies prefer to use this Selenium along with Java. And this is so this is an open source. Suppose if you want to do testing, one of the most happening tool in the industry is Selenium. Even though there are many other tools like Tosca or many more, but still Selenium is the most happening tool. Excuse me, tool in the most happening tool in the industry. Okay. Anyhow, we are going to talk about it and we're going to work with it and we set up Selenium, everything. So nothing to worry about it. So what are the features of Selenium then? It is an open source. Open source means that is why it is very much popular. Why many companies are still depending on Selenium is because it's not licensed and it gives you the best for the companies. So that's why it is so popular in today's competitive world. It's an open source which is free of cost and it supports multiple programming languages. What Selenium does, it supports multiple programming languages. If you see, what is that? It supports we can implement Selenium with Java or C Sharp or Ruby or Python and many more. Okay, so you have this kind of flexibility if you are working with a Selenium tool. In whichever the language you are comfortable, in that language you try to implement Selenium testing. You create a test, all that automation with this Selenium. But again, you can ask me a question, which is most widely used language along with Selenium? What's your answer, friends? Can you please share your answer in the chat box? What do you think? And just type in the chat box, which is the most popularly used language with Selenium? Which one is that? What do you think? What is your answer? Definitely, yes. Java. True team. Java is something which is widely used Selenium tool. Of course, I don't say that people also do automation with Python and C Sharp, Ruby or Groovy or many more. But among all that, many of this software communities, excuse me, prefer to use Java with Selenium. Okay, that is the most happening thing. Anyhow, we have a quick we at least we discuss for a couple of weeks on the Java and then switch to the Selenium tool. Okay, by the end of this discussion, definitely you'll be in a very good stage to handle this Selenium. I mean, not today, by the end of the course, what I'm saying. So that is what we call open source and multiple programming languages. It supports multiple languages. And it supports multiple operating system and browsers. Suppose there are certain Selenium tools which were legacy one, which is outdated. We'll talk about it. So they work with only Firefox or something, but Selenium, it might work with Firefox, it might work with Safari, it might work with Chrome, it might work with Internet Explorer. It works all with different browsers. Not only browsers, it works with multiple operating systems. It's not just only for Windows or for Linux or Unix or Sun Solaris or something, but it works with multiple operating systems or Mac. So this is another advantage with Selenium. It supports multiple operating systems and you can run Selenium with multiple browsers. And again, multiple frameworks. So it works with multiple frameworks. What do you mean by multiple frameworks here? Like, apart from this, here we have some framework like TestNG, something like Cucumber. It also works with these kind of frameworks. So what do you mean by framework here? Framework is nothing but which is having a structure, which is having already a built-in library. And you choose that libraries and then to develop your applications. You choose those components. Framework means already built-in collection of some components in some kind of environment. So that is a framework. So what do? You choose all those built-in components and you try to create your test automation. And Selenium supports multiple frameworks here. What is that? There is something if you maybe after this, after these sessions, you can go and explore. Then you might find it easy to understand many things that were there in your websites or YouTube or whatever it is. Like TestNG or Cucumber, many more frameworks. This usually this I think Selenium is going to support. Okay, so that's what multiple frameworks. Got it, team. I hope you should be clear till this stage today. Tomorrow I'll talk about what shall I say? How Selenium evolved. What is the Selenium suite? And we'll quickly discuss about what is Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, WebDriver, and Selenium Grid. Now, which were there in the market? Which components are still exist in the market and which are very popular in the market? Is it IDE or RC or WebDriver or Selenium Grid? And then we'll talk about okay, and we just switch to the Java topics, and we will just discuss about this Java and OOPS, okay, for a couple of weeks, and then again jump back to the Selenium because without having a little understanding about Java, it becomes very difficult to understand Selenium. But you enjoy the process when you are learning, you enjoy all that, okay? So that's about for today. So if you can answer quick questions, that would be fine for us because we started from discussing where this one test case. I just ask quick questions. I don't want to, stop you for more time. So what is this test case and when this test case designing comes, will it come before testing or after testing? This is the quick question. Can you answer in the chat box? So quick questions I would like to ask. What is a test case and when this starts, before testing or after testing? Okay, fine. Next one about bug report. So bug or defects. When do we create this bug reports? Will it comes after testing or before testing? So this bug report. So when do we have this bug report? After testing or before testing? Okay, good. And then next one. See, in the bug life cycle, anyhow, you see that there are many stages. I just don't want to ask any questions here about this one. But just remember, anyhow, by looking at these stages itself, they are self-explainable. Okay. And then, so about Selenium. So what are that frameworks Selenium supports? I just gave you examples of Selenium frameworks which it supports multiple frameworks, right? What other frameworks does this Selenium is supporting? Can you name them? Cucumber is fine. TestNG is fine. You can Google also, no problem. It's not like, because we just need to get some understanding and some clarity on this. And we'll talk about this TestNG and Cucumber end of this Selenium course. Okay, we do have a discussion on that as well. Okay, so right, friends. So this is for today. Tomorrow, I'll just quickly discuss about the evolution of Selenium and then jump to Java. Okay, thank you. Have a good day. Do you have any questions? Of course, if you have questions, I can open the chat box.